It's that time of year again. The weather report is full of drama. From June 1st to November 30th, the northern Atlantic Ocean goes through what we call hurricane season. But why do we have hurricane season? And why does it peak from August to October? Let's first begin with what a hurricane is. Hurricanes are the most violent storms on Earth, often releasing enough energy to equal that of 10,000 nuclear bombs. They can happen all around the world. They just go by different names. Hurricane, the name for tropical cyclones in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific Oceans, comes from the Aboriginal Central American god of evil, Huracan. In the Western Pacific, they are called typhoons, which comes from the Cantonese word for great wind, typhoon. In the Southern Hemisphere and Indian Ocean, they're named cyclones. Despite how dangerous they can be, hurricanes play a necessary part in maintaining stable climates around the world. The Earth is not evenly heated by the sun. The equator gets a lot more direct sunlight than the poles do. This means that while the equator has a surplus of solar radiation, the polar regions have a deficit. In order to fix this imbalance, ocean and wind currents naturally form to deliver warmth from the tropics to the poles. However, this process isn't very efficient, and sometimes these currents cause the imbalance to become even worse. You know what is efficient? Hurricanes. Not only are they really good at moving warm air from the tropics to the poles, they're also good at radiating heat back into space. So how does this work? Hurricanes are essentially giant engines that use warm ocean water as fuel. That's why they always form over the ocean. In fact, when a hurricane reaches land, it tends to die down very quickly because it's out of energy. Recall that warm air rises and cold air sinks. So in the tropics, warm, moist air from just above the ocean's surface starts to rise. Now the pressure at sea level has dropped. This means there is less air left above the ocean's surface. In order to fill that hole, air from the surrounding areas pushes in. But this air also becomes warm and moist and rises. As this air rises, it cools down and condenses into clouds and rain. This releases heat energy. A cycle forms. Heat is released, making more warm air rise and causing pressure at sea level to drop even more. Throughout this process, the storm continues to grow as it feeds off the warm water. The wind starts to circulate in a counterclockwise pattern around the low-pressure area, forming an eye. This center point of the hurricane is very calm. Because of the low pressure under the storm, the ocean starts to bulge upward. This is called a storm surge. When the hurricane hits land, so does a storm surge, causing severe flooding. All that the hurricane leaves behind is cooler ocean water and destruction. So why are there so many hurricanes in late summer and early autumn? Well, there are two ingredients that make hurricane season possible. Number one, warm water. During the summer months, ocean water at the equator is at its warmest, and that means hurricanes have a lot of fuel. Number two, wind shear. Wind shear is how much the wind changes speed and direction over a short amount of time. This mechanism helps to prevent hurricanes. When the wind shear is too strong, the storm falls apart. Hurricanes need warm, moist air coming up through their centers, and wind shear removes this. Wind shear is at its strongest in the spring and progressively weakens by August. When high water temperatures and weak wind shear come together, hurricanes form. Climate change could cause hurricanes to become larger, longer lasting, and more severe. If global temperatures rise, so will ocean temperatures. Remember, warm water is hurricane fuel, and the more of it there is, the more hurricanes will thrive. But wait. Hurricanes aren't the enemy here. They have to move that warmth toward the poles in order to maintain the balance. They're just doing their jobs. Thanks for watching.